All right, let's go to George Kontos. Oh, man, Kontos, man, back on Giants pre- and post-NBC Sports Bay Area. Of course, he's a World Series champ with the Gigantes. Of course, we know about his golf. I know about his golf game, man. This guy hits bombs out there. Bombs! George, man, long time no talk. What's going on, George?
Good morning, fellas. How you guys doing?
Man, we're good. Baseball's back, man. Baseball is back in our lives. We obviously got some hoops and stuff like that, but we're excited to talk to you, man. The new drip, what you got going on this year on TV. Can't wait to see the drip on the shoes, on the feet there. But yesterday, first game, they lose to the Padres 6-4. Let's start with the positives. Logan Webb. He looks like Logan Webb, right? Looked like the ace of the team. He dealt yesterday.
Yeah, Webby did a great job yesterday. That fifth inning, he really showed some composure with the emotions of an opening day start and got out of that, limiting some damage. And, his command, I thought, could have been a little bit better. I think that he would have agreed. But he battled, and that's what guys that are the aces of teams do. They go out there, they give their team a chance to win. And, when he came out of the game, it was a 2-1 game, and that's kind of what you want to see from your ace, especially coming right out the gate.
What'd you think? It's day one. We're not losing our minds, but I thought you'd maybe go to the lefty. Taylor Rogers in that situation with two lefties coming up. They go to Luke Jackson. What'd you make of that decision?
I think Bob Melvin and all the guys making those decisions know what they're doing. I think they probably wanted to save Taylor for a little bit later in the game, assuming that the score would have stayed where it was at. Obviously with Luke coming out of the game and what looks to be that low back kind of thing barking up again, you never want to see that, especially on opening day. With the back end of that bullpen, you had, 3, 4, 5 guys that could really make some noise in those last 3 innings. So you never like to see that.
What'd you think of Eric Miller, this 26-year-old lefty? He's a big dude. His dad was jacked in the stands, super excited for him. He's throwing 97, 98. He seems very promising.
Oh, yeah. That fastball, that last one he threw at 98, that blew, I can't remember whose doors right off, but that was impressive. He's going to continue to go out there and pitch with confidence, and that's an absolute weapon that you have late in games. You have Camilo from the right side. You have a guy like that from the left side throwing that hard. That can only complement and add on to the depth of your bullpen.
George, as we look at this team coming into 2024, I'm a little more excited about this team than I have been in years past. Looks like a legit lineup with the power, some speed. I do want to see a little more speed in this lineup, but the staff and the rotation and the bullpen, it does project that the Giants will be in this race, and I do suspect them to be a playoff team in the National League. When you take a zoom out of this baseball team, and you see them on paper for the first time going into opening day yesterday, how do you feel about the Giants in 2024? What do you think about their chances entering the playoffs and maybe making a run at this thing?
Well, I'll tell you what, we got 161 more to go, but I can tell you that from the beginning of spring training to opening day, I have a lot more confidence and a lot more excitement in what's going on with this ball club. I think you got to give credit to Farhan for kind of getting some of these guys on some, in my opinion, steal deals. And, these Boris guys, you have to look at them as one-year deals, right? So you got to focus right now on the present. And you have to assume that guys like Chapman and Blake Snell, if they go out there and have great years, they're going to be testing the market again because they feel like they did get underpaid for what they're worth on the macro side of a contract. But I think this year, when you look at this lineup on paper and what they can do in this staff and this bullpen, there's no reason why they can't compete with the Dodgers trying to win a division. I expect them to absolutely be in the mix for a wild card spot at the very least. But when you look at Logan Webb and Blake Snell at the top of your rotation, you got Alex Cobb coming back, you got Robbie Ray coming back. Kyle Harrison, I think we saw a little bit of him on the positive and the negative side last year. If he can come out there and, make the strides forward that we saw Logan Webb do a few years back, I think there's a lot to be excited about this rotation. We have that thump in the middle of the lineup with Soler and Chapman. Conforto looked fantastic, quick to the ball yesterday. Nick Ahmed, I think I gave up my first home run to any batter in AAA when I got traded from the Yankees to the Giants to Nick Ahmed back in 2012. So that guy can turn on fastballs as well as anybody, and it was nice to see him come out swinging and producing early like he had been all spring. So, like I just rattled off 30 seconds worth of positives about this team. There's a lot to be excited about.
Yeah. Well, what'd you see from Jung-Hoo Lee in his – it's one game, but most Giants fans had never seen him play. And so the guy gets looks like he can go deep into a count. Nice little situational hitting with the sac fly, got a base hit, gets picked off right after the base hit. Looks like he was going on first movement. I don't know what was going on there. But he looks like a player. What was your impressions of Jung Hoo Lee?
Well, my impressions was of somebody who was making their major league debut, right? Regardless of how long you've played in professional baseball across the pond, regardless of what you signed for, this was his first game as a major leaguer, and there are emotions that come with that. And you saw that right in his first at-bat. Darvish kind of chopped him up in 3 pitches, and then he got his first hit, which is great because that helps take a little bit of the anxiety off of you, getting your first hit in your first game. Anything that he can do moving forward, which I would imagine is going to happen very quickly, for him to feel much more comfortable in the lineup and playing in this new environment that he's never done before, I think the better. But, I mean, he could obviously play center field. He was a little jumpy getting picked off there. He got his first major league hit out the way. Right. I think he's going to be just fine.
You know, George, looking at the other side of things, the Padres were supposed to compete last season. They had all the talent in the world, Juan Soto, Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., and, of course, Bob Melvin managing that club in the clubhouse. Going into this season, it feels like we've underrated the Padres. They still have a slew of talent here. How do you see the Padres here? Because I feel it feels like the baseball world after last season said, the Padres, they're just the same old Padres. They're going to underachieve. But I think they may be better than what we all anticipate.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree. I would definitely not sleep on the Padres this year. You know, I think last year was a little bit of a punch in the gut for them with all the money they spent, all the superstars they have. And, sometimes, I know Bob Melvin's on our side of things now, and we know what he's done in the past and what he's capable of doing and the respect that he brings. Sometimes just a change of people at the helm can go a long way to getting guys right on track. And what Mike Schilt did with the Cardinals was pretty impressive, at least in my opinion, at the beginning of his managerial career. Mm-hmm. So the Padres, I mean, look, when you look at them on paper, you know that they're dangerous. Right. And I think that their rotation is fantastic. Their bullpen is going to be fine. Maybe it was just bringing a few new people that kind of head that ball club that could turn things around. But I would absolutely not sleep on the Padres because they can be dangerous every 5 days, every day of the week that they step on the baseball field. When you got guys like Cronenworth and Machado and Bogarts and, Tatis Jr., I mean, all these guys are maturing. Tatis is maturing now. He's been in the league for a long time. I would expect him to have a little bit of a better ability to hone those instincts and not kind of play like a bat out of hell like we've seen him in the past. So I think they're going to be very good. I would definitely not sleep on them, and I would definitely not take them for granted when they are on the other side of the lineup.
Why do you think things went south with Bob Melvin last year in San Diego?
Look, I mean, I don't think that there's a lot of, first of all, they had no bullpen, right? I mean, their bullpen last year was not very good. They lost more one-run games than any other team in baseball last year with a really good rotation in Blake Snell, who won the Cy Young, Joe Musgrove, Yu Darvish, who was injured a little bit. But when you can't win one-run ball games, which is what the Giants are very good at historically or have been historically very good at, you're going to have a tough time. And sometimes when that ball is rolling in the wrong direction and the momentum is negative, it's really tough to overcome that. And it doesn't matter kind of what camaraderie you have, who's leading your ball club, what superstars you have. When you start falling into that rhythm and routine of just getting down on yourself, which is what I saw from them last year, it's hard to overcome. And, you need to get a 5-6 game win streak or win 6 of 8 to kind of get out of that. And they never really had that last year. But I think that is very fresh in their memory. And they're going to come out swinging this year for sure.
Yeah, this division is going to be stacked. The Padres, the Diamondbacks scored 14 runs in the third inning yesterday against the Rockies. The Diamondbacks looking to get back to the World Series. Of course, they're loaded as well. George, when you back on television, man? We miss you.
Well, I just had my wife and I just had a baby girl 9 days ago.
Congratulations! I know you guys did the surprise birth, right? You guys did. You guys basically did the whole surprise, right?
Yeah, we did. We did the find out when the baby comes out. We didn't find out what the baby was going to be until she came out and graced us. Wow. But we have a very, very beautiful little baby girl. Everyone's healthy. Mama's healthy. So I'm taking the next couple weeks off, but I should be back mid-April. Awesome. Back in the studio, and I got some fire this year for you, Monty. You're not going to know you're not going to believe what I got on the feet this year.
Hey, George, I'm trying to work next to you a couple shows, man. The basketball season may be over a little early. Your boy needs some cash, man.
So on this note, did you see Solero rocking the Concord Jordans? What'd you think of that?
I did see that. Look, I respect anybody who puts a little bit of effort into what's on their feet. I think that is fantastic because I'm a big shoe guy. Obviously, I love them. I got about 7-8 new pairs of Travis Scotts for you this year that are going to be pretty unbelievable on the feet. I got those new Warrior color canaries that I was going to wear for a series.
Oh, man. Well, Teller just sent me, David Teller, who's going to be producing your shows. Obviously, he's doing the guy doesn't take a day off. He sent me some low tops. I think these are some Travis Scott's. He goes, ask George about these or whatnot. So Teller's trying to flex on you as well.
I know he's a sneaker guy, so I send him all the new ones that I get. I actually just a really good buddy of mine from back home here as a baby girl gift got me the Jordan 1 Low Dior's, which I will be wearing for you on air.
Oh my gosh.
George, before you get on out here, this is going to get super geeky here. All right, so just bear with me. It used to be like metal spikes, metal spikes, metal spikes. Like that's all anyone wore. I'm seeing a trend going in the other direction. It sure feels like a lot of guys are wearing the TPU, the molded plastic cleats. I mean, yes, there's still obviously a need for the metal spikes, but when did that trend start to change?
I think when people started realizing that wearing those metal spikes for 162 games kind of irritated your foot a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're a pitcher, you have to wear the metal spikes because it can get dangerous. You can blow out a hammy or a groin if you are trying to pitch in those plastics off the rubber because your grip and your connection to the ground as a pitcher is obviously the most important thing. So all pitchers will be wearing metal spikes, but the guys who are playing, behind you, the numbers 2 through 9 in the field, any way for them to be comfortable for 162 games or however many you're playing in a full season, your feet will thank you when you wear those molds.
All right, so it's opening day, and you're back on the bump for the Giants. Opening day, what is the color? What is the shoe? What's the customization you're rocking if you're back on the Giants today?
Oh man, I think my last year with the Giants, I have a buddy who did all the custom drawings on the and my nickname was always Spartan, just being of Greek descent. My both sides of my family are from Sparta, so I had my last year with the Giants in 2017. I had these home and away spikes that my buddy put Spartan helmets all over each side of them, and they had my nickname on them. It was dope. But I think if I was still playing this year with all the customization options that guys have now, it would be some form of the Jordan 1 high top. Ooh. And it would probably have some sort of orange and black and cream drawings all over it.
Yeah, George don't play, man. George don't mess around with the shoe game, man.
Mookie Betts, he's got all the different ones.
I'm trying to compete with George, man. I went broke quick, dog. I ran out of room in the closet, dude. I'm not. Jason Dumas and George Kontos, best shoe game in the Bay Area, no doubt about that, on television there. But George, honestly,
congratulations.
All the baseball talk, forget all that. Congrats on being a girl dad, man. That's awesome.
Good
I remember when you told me that you guys are going to wait until she came out the womb, and that's awesome, man. Congrats on being a girl dad. It's nothing like it.
Oh, you know what? Thank you so much. It was so funny watching this little miracle come out in the last 10 days of, I'll tell you what, being the dad here, I feel pretty helpless. I've been holding her and changing some diapers, but she needs mama to survive right now. Yeah. So just kind of holding her and watching her grow and change already in 10 days. It's one of those crazy bonds that obviously you can never experience until you have one yourself.
No doubt. Hey, you're going to feel helpless for about 9 months there. Shasky's feeling helpless right now. Yeah, no, you're going to feel helpless. Now, all of a sudden, it's daddy this, daddy that. Now, watch some Giants games on the iPhone, and she's watching Disney movies on the 70-inch screen TV. So
yeah,
there it is.
Exactly.
Get ready for that, George. All right, George, good catching up with you, man. We'll see you when you get back out there. Congratulations to you and the missus as well.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me. We'll see you soon.
Anytime. George Kontos, man, one of the good guys out there, man. Love George, man. Really good dude. He don't mess around with the shoe game, man. He does not.